about the chicken ordinance, because they declared that we couldn't have chickens in Plymouth, and there's a complete ban on them. So I went around to try to find out what the people of Plymouth think about us having chickens in Plymouth. And I found out that at 2 months ago when I came, I had 97 signatures, almost 100 gathered before the meeting, and there was only 8 against. Now I have 129 signatures, and if Paul Riles counts that there's only 10 people against. It shows that the vast majority of people in Plymouth approve of us being able to have a few hens in Plymouth. And then at the last meeting, the agreement was that Howie would go check other ordinances, see how they're written, to decide how the Plymouth ordinance should be written. I didn't make it to the last meeting, but it appears you broke your promise. You didn't even look. You didn't try to write another ordinance. You continued the ban and called the lawyers on me instead.
Well, wrong.
Okay.
But I checked. I stopped at. It was a week before deer season. I stopped at about 4 places. One was in a rush to get out of there, so she looked up her ordinance, couldn't find it. Another lady one was closed, but I stopped in Belmont and asked them for the ordinance, and I had a copy, and it's the exact same ordinance we got. But you were supposed to show back up at the last meeting, and you never even showed up at the last meeting.
I don't remember saying I had to show up for you guys to write the ordinance.
We didn't say we didn't even approve rewriting the ordinance. Always said we were going to bring it back up on the agenda again last month, and you didn't even show up for the agenda or for the meeting.
It's true I didn't show up because I thought you could write an ordinance on your own.
Well, you're wrong.
The agreement was...
Wait. Okay. We're not going to go around in circles as long as I'm the mayor, and I am now. So
I don't see it as circles.
Look, we've already taken care of your issue with the chickens. Okay?
No, you haven't.
Yes, I believe we have. The council has taken care of it. You've gotten letters. My understanding is you've got another letter in the last day or two.
Continuing the ban.
That you're going to have to abate. Now, let me just say a couple things. I'll turn it back over to the council because they're ultimately in charge. 97 signatures or 970 means nothing. You just can't change ordinances or resolutions on the signatures that you want to do, okay? So that doesn't really matter. Plus, we don't even know who the signatures are.
You can read signatures.
It doesn't matter, Craig.
What do you mean you don't know what they are? And I tell you can read them and you say it doesn't matter.
You have to follow proper procedure to change ordinances.
I did.
Okay. So that matter is finished.
No, the matter's not. You folks haven't even explained why you don't want chickens.
Look, I want every single council member to talk to you about it because they're in charge. They've already discussed this, passed their decisions the last couple of meetings they were here, sent you letters. There's really no other discussion that needs to be made.
There's a great deal of discussion that needs to be made. If I would have known that you guys were lying last time, that you weren't going to try to change this and try to, that you had such disrespect and contempt for these.
Liars when you don't have anything to back it up with.
I do. You guys said you were going to run it.
I don't remember you guys saying the next meeting they were going to do it. I was here that night. I don't remember you guys telling him he had to be back next month. I don't remember hearing that.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
Yes, it does.
Why do you say it doesn't matter? They're saying that I said I'd be back. He says I wasn't. I said I didn't. Why does it not matter what we say, but it matters what he says?
That's what we're talking about. You're trying to get an ordinance changed based on some signatures that you collected.
Based on proof that 90% of the people in this town support being able to have some hens.
That's not how the process works, Craig.
Then how do you change an ordinance?
I don't know. You need to look up the process and figure it out.
So you don't know how the process, but you're declaring this to be not the process.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes. Jeff, would you like to speak on this? You guys are the council. You've let this go on for several months now. So let's see if we can get it.
I'd like to ask the question, what do you guys have against chickens? Because I've never heard you say anything of why we can't have chickens.
That is irrelevant.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Craig, what do you
The city council won't let us have chickens. We ask why, and that's irrelevant.
Because it's in the ordinance. What are we supposed to do next month when you come home with a cow for milk? What do we do then?
Then you put a ban on it. I go get signatures, and I show you the people a petition. I show you a petition that shows that the people of Plymouth say I can have a cow, but of course people in Plymouth wouldn't say I have a cow. I can have a cow. If I went around and got 100 signatures and 10 of them said I was wrong, all I would find out is that the people of this town don't support me on the cow.
Craig, is you're wasting everybody's time.
No, you are. You're not even letting
the procedure.
You don't even know what the procedure is. I asked you. You won't even tell me.
Okay.
How do you know it's not the right
You don't want to
procedure?
discuss this.
All right. What do you think's wrong with chickens?
That's not the question.
That is the question. What do you think
Okay,
is wrong with that?
it's like any animal, they're running free. I was open minded with this idea until I turned the corner one day, and in that meeting we discussed, it had first been brought up, it was going to be a continuing to the next meeting. And I was open to it, Howie was open to it. But when I turned the corner and I saw these two chickens just standing out in the yard, just free to roam, that changed my opinion because, for one, we've dealt with you on some other issues, and if you had shown a willingness to work with us on other things, it would have been a little different. If everything you did was within city code, maybe that'd be something we consider, but it's not. And it's another thing we have to babysit, we have to worry about. And it isn't just you, we open that up to anybody.
So I show you 129 signatures, only 10 people against, and you treat these people with contempt, absolute contempt for their desire to have, for what they want to have in this town?
You know, you're talking to us too here in the back there. Remember that.
All these people that signed this are people that said that they would like to have this in their town. I don't know how else I can get the opinion of the
Wait
people
a
in this
second.
town.
This is why you have to go through the right process, because if we went
You don't tell me the process.
I don't know it word by word, but what I'm telling
You
you
declare this
is,
wrong, but you don't know the process.
listen to me.
When did it change?
Listen
The
to me.
town used to allow chickens.
Yeah, when did it change?
this change?
When the ordinance was written.
No answer.
I don't know.
Another no
You want to
answer.
read the ordinance book?
You don't know what you're
Okay.
talking about. You tell us
The-
about the procedures, you
listen.
don't even let us.
Listen.
That's all you people have to do is think of things to pick on.
No, listen.
I know raising chickens would be a hassle. I know it's a hassle. But if a person wants to do it, why not? He's
It's the
responsible
whole
for it.
community.
Yes, like telling oxen not to have cows.
If you want to change the ordinance, we can go through the procedures, we'll find out what it is. Then we'll get the whole town to come up and see if you've got your 97 signatures.
Yeah,
That's what we're
129 signatures, and only 10 against.
The teapot, I hate to say.
I'm sorry, sir, you came in late. What's your name?
I hate to say this about my own people, but Americans are notoriously lazy. We've been spoiled. So what I'm trying to say is, all of this hullabaloo, I would sincerely doubt that if you allow them to have 100 chickens, I doubt if 4 people would do it in the entire city because of the work.
Yeah.
They don't want to work. Let's face it, we've been spoiled.
You don't understand. It's the law.
What law? Who made the law?
You did what you did. You voted. You vote people in.
I never got a notice.
Then we want to change.
Well, why not put it on the city agenda and vote on it?
Do you want to change it? Then we
Yes.
have to go through the process. If you want us to figure out what that is, we will, and we'll present that to you.
Why haven't you done it already? You knew 2
You never
months ago
asked
that I
us
wanted.
to.
2 months ago I showed you these petitions. You knew it wanted to be done.
It's not as easy as you think it is.
Well, what's the difficult
But
problem?
at the same time, everything you seem to do is after the fact. You got the chickens ready to run around, and then all of a sudden you come in here and ask permission to have them. I told you, really.
Well, who would think it was
Okay,
illegal to have
whoa, one at a time, please. I told you, I wasn't against the chickens. In a confined area, it wouldn't be bad, like a rabbit coop or something, or a cage back there.
Sounds like an ordinance you could write.
Yeah, you said that last time. Yeah.
Yep, but yours are running around, and you've already got them, and they're already running around before you even come in here.
Right.
And I said, I told you last time, we said, well, okay this till the next meeting, we'll bring it back up, put it on the agenda, and we'll decide what we're gonna do. I expected you to be back to be.
But you didn't tell me to come back. You said that you would check it and you would look at the other ordinances and you would decide how to write our ordinance. You sounded like you realized that 90% of the people supported this and that you had respect for the people of the town. And the next meeting you said, oh, those signatures mean absolutely nothing. We're going to continue the ban, and you wrote the lawyers on me.
It didn't
You
go
sick
there.
the lawyers on me.
It didn't go there.
It's the same thing as you refused to write an ordinance. You didn't write one. You said you were going to. You went and looked at other ordinances. You said you were going to check them out. You failed there. And you said you were going to try to write an ordinance that would agree, that because so many people agree with it.
Cecil, do you want to comment? It's your turn.
We did have a meeting about it. He went to, like you said, those other cities. You were not here. I know we didn't say you had to come back.
Right.
But because of all the other hassles we've had of you trying to clean up your mess, things like that, the procrastination, saying that we send you all
I don't
this
think
stuff.
there's been that many
Well,
problems. Just
I think
plate
there
stickers
have.
on the bus and van, is it? That's the only thing you
God,
asked me
no,
to do.
it was more than stickers.
Such as?
Craig, just let me interrupt. Craig, I was
He's
on the
making false
council
claims.
6 years ago,
I'm not making
and we were
false
dealing with it.
Don't lie about things.
Well, name something else that you sent me an ordinance on to clean up.
You
Okay,
said you're gonna clean up all that metal and stuff behind there, don't know if that went yet. You said you're gonna do something with the bus, wanted you to do
I
something
did
with the
something with the
van.
bus, I did something with the van. That's the only thing you sent me an ordinance on. I did those.
hang on, we're going around in circles.
Yes, we are.
Would you like to make any comments, Eric, being
No,
new
I
on the
missed
council? Okay.
the last two, I'll be fine.
So, in a summary, Craig, you have nothing to show us, you have nothing to give us, unless if you want, we will look into the ordinance changing, but there's a long, drawn-out process, okay?
No, there's not. The fire ordinance didn't take that
Look,
long.
I can't be the president of the United States because I get 50 signatures. It doesn't work that way, okay?
No, I think it's like 1,000 for you
All right,
to get on the ballot.
to get the
But signatures is how you start to get on the ballot. That's how you
And
start.
the signatures need
That's
to
the
be
first
verified
procedure.
by the clerk. Have they? Have you
No.
verified his 97 signatures? Okay. So where would you like to go next?
I'd like to have you guys change the ordinance, agree to change the ordinance and write it so it shows some respect
Okay,
for the 125 people in this town, the 90% of the people in this town that want us to be, their neighbors to be able to have a few hens.
okay,
Show some respect for them.
okay.
And call off the lawyer on me until you get the ordinance written.
No. That can't happen because
Yes,
you
it
have
can.
broken the law, you have broken the ordinance, and we have to deal with that.
No, you
Now, if
don't.
you
There's a
wanna-
lot of ordinances that are broke, you don't deal with.
Just like how he said, you can't go get something, bring it back, and then expect us to change our ways.
Sure I can.
People put up
Anybody can do that.
all the time.
Yes, it is. It seems to work
Yes, sir.
fine if you follow
Okay,
along.
which one of you guys voted on this ordinance? Voted for it?
It's been on the
We
record,
wanna know which one.
we don't know, it's been on the record for 30, 40 years,
No.
Sharon.
Oh, yes. Even George Spice asked me, when did this happen?
Okay, hang on. Sharon was on the council for 30 years or whatever. Do you recall when it was written in? Yes, no?
It's been for years.
Okay. You can't come in and say who voted on it.
Yeah, what again? Which one of you guys voted against this?
It was there when I started.
What
Who
brought it?
voted against his deal?
Yeah.
There was nothing to vote against. He broke the law.
In order to get an ordinance, somebody's gotta vote on it.
If he asked you to do something and started, and you told him you, for you
Okay.
to apply, you would.
All right.
And he
Yes.
did
All
not.
right, we're
You-
going around in circles.
Yeah.
Okay, Craig.
You ignored what she said and you said we're going around circles. Do you notice that?
Yes,
You didn't
I
even
said
listen
that.
to her. Did
I
you
went
even
around
listen to
in
her?
circles with you for 15 years that I've lived here.
So you're still going to ignore what she said and disregard her and say go around circles. What'd she say?
I don't have to.
See, you don't even know. You didn't even listen to her.
Okay.
This is a citizen of this community. She
Listen.
said something. Take time to listen
Do
to
you
her.
want us to help?
Oh, I don't want to go around in circles.
All right.
Should I listen to you?
Sit down, unless you want to talk about your next subject, this one's full. Okay?
Yeah, but that's right.
What's your next
You
problem?
should start. My next problem is you don't listen to these people when they talk to you. You say you do. I ask you what to say, and you don't tell what you said. Because you will lose. Because you didn't listen to what this woman said at all. I asked you, and you couldn't even tell me what she said just a minute ago.
I don't
You
even
didn't
know what
listen
you
to
said,
her at all.
because I haven't been listening for 10 years.
Exactly.
You have that on tape?
Now will you listen to her? Now will you listen to her?
No.
No, see, exactly. You won't even
We
listen
are
to these
done
people.
with this subject, and if you don't get under control, I'm gonna call the police and have
And
you
you
revoked.
should call the police.
You got it right now.
Right on.
Jesus, I ain't putting up with your crap, Craig, that's just all there is to it.
That's
called
fine.
democracy. The people
Yeah,
have
but
spoken.
You shut everybody out.
The
You don't
toughest
listen to
ordinance
us.
in the state.
I don't want to talk.
Des Moines, you can have 25 chickens. Mason City, you can have 25 chickens. Plymouth, Iowa, you can't have 2. You can't have 2. I'm telling you, you
Yeah,
can't
you
have
go to
2.
Mason, a new Mason.
You can have 25 in Mason, you can have 25 in Des Moines.
All right,
In Plymouth, you can't have 2.
You can have pork belly pigs and ducks and mammals.
this is Plymouth City Hall, we have an unruly person at our council meeting, we would like the sheriff department to come remove
Have the mayor removed.
Could be the mayor on top of it.
the city hall in Plymouth, what's the address? 616.
Can any of you tell me why you don't want us to have chickens? Just because you say I have them run around, why can't you write an ordinance that allows them to be tased? That's all you have to do is write that in the ordinance. But you say nobody can have any at all because I had 2 of them running wild.
Thank you.
Free ranging?
Okay, do you wanna go on to your next thing while the police are coming?
No, I wanna go on, stay on this one. Why would I wanna change it? Just because you don't wanna hear about it doesn't mean that the people of Plymouth don't get to state their image. I mean, their
We're done
ideas.
with it, we've heard it.
No, we're not. You're
Not hearing it. You're not hearing it, obviously.
You're not hearing it at all. You're not even listening to us.
We haven't agreed.
Nobody's agreed.
These are the people that voted you in. These are the constituents.
I seriously doubt that.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, really? You're laughing at your own people.
Look, sir, let me explain something to you. You ain't live here. I
Thank
didn't
God.
run for mayor.
I don't wanna talk in circles.
I was.
I don't wanna talk in circles.
Whoops, wait.
That's what you do. Every time someone talks, you interrupt and say you don't wanna talk in circles, then when you get treated that way, you don't like it. Now you know how she feels when you treat her that way.
I make a motion we adjourn the meeting until the police are here and remove Greg Howard.
See, now he's trying to stop free speech again. He's trying to stop free speech again. Why adjourn it? Why can't you sit there and listen? Use this time usefully.
I have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Opposed?
Just like the Republic.
Adjourned. In here.
See, you have no respect for what the people here say. He cuts everybody off, you don't listen to him, then you just follow him. And none of you can tell me why you don't want chickens.
The
Why you want
meeting
to allow
has been
chickens here.
adjourned until.
Shut up then, you're gone, you're adjourned. You adjourned, you decided to leave. You decided to leave.
For what? For what? Speaking his mind as an American citizen?
This videotape will be used in court too, and they'll see what you did.
That's right, it's a public place, we can all talk.
Yeah.
Now, why can't we have chickens in
Taxes don't
Plymouth?
pay for this.
Thank God I don't live here.
When we brought that up last time, at the last meeting, about the chickens,
Mhm.
I don't think chickens was the biggest issue. The biggest issue was you're the only one that has.
So he's the issue.
So I'm the issue, you're not doing business with me?
No, but I'm not, but every time I told you at the meeting when you were here, the only way I consent to having chickens, if they were in an enclosure and not being able to run free. You've already got them running free,
Mhm.
and so,
So you won't write an ordinance otherwise?
well, my biggest thing is, every time we have to go get a lawyer or do something.
What about the
every
kids
time we-
across the street that run free?
The what?
Children that run free.
It makes sense.
You're right.
You see what we're doing now.
Well, the biggest thing is, I can understand wanting chickens, okay, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, that doesn't mean your neighbor wants them, and his neighbor wants them, and so your chickens from there. And every time we go to do something with you, we've got to hassle, we've got to call a lawyer, we've got to come and knock on your door, and we get the same hassle every time we talk to you.
But 90% of the people want chickens. More than 90% of the people in this town want chickens. Why are you stopping them from having chickens?
Nobody else come in except you.
What do you mean nobody else came in except me? Look at all these people.
Yeah, but you want to have chickens?
They don't have to want to have chickens. They just want to be able to make it so that people in Plymouth can have chickens.
I want chickens as long as they're penned up. How many of you want
Right.
chickens? Raise your hand. How many
See,
chickens
gotcha.
for a farm? I mean, well, how many?
I was raised on a farm, and I guarantee you, with chicken hawks, raccoons,
Yes, owls,
coyotes,
dogs.
you're not only going to raise chickens, you're going to have it fenced over the top, you're going to have fence around the outside and dig under the ground, and so that the mesh goes
Raccoons.
so the coons can't dig in.
Chickens won't be there long,
So free range chickens, if that's the ordinance you want to write, no free range. Then write that. But don't stop, all the people, don't have complete contempt for 90% of the people in this town by completely banning them. All we want is a few hens, and I don't know why you're treating this issue with such disrespect. You said you'd go check ordinances, see how to write it. You didn't. You know Mason City has one, you didn't get one from them?
I did very basically, I started going through here towards Belmont, and I stopped at Rockwell, Sheffield, Belmont.
But you know the people wanted it. So last month, why do you continue to ban?
Here's our record. I tell you what I'm telling you, when I'm talking to you, man, person to person, and you keep coming in, and you keep going back for this chicken.
Right. This is the chicken ordinance we're discussing.
Yeah, and we brought it back up last week, and when I told you, when I thought about it, and we discussed it, every time, you were the only one that's come in that wants this ordinance changed.
I came in with 97.
No. They said it's okay. They don't see any reason why you can't have them. They didn't say they want to have them. And I'm saying every
Right, they
time.
didn't say they want it.
But if they choose to have them,
They say they want the ordinance changed. You want me to read the petition to you?
No.
The ordinance
I read
enforcing
it-
a
I read it
complete
when
ban
you
on
were
hens in Plymouth should be revisited and revised to allow a limited number of hens. It doesn't say these people want chickens. It says the ordinance should be revised. So they don't come in saying they want chickens. They say that Plymouth needs to change the ordinance. That's what they're saying. And why do you have such contempt for the people that want to change the ordinance?
Why not run a 6
Then
month
how come you continue the ban?
and see how it works? If it don't work, forget it, kick it out permanently.
Well, you know, like I said before, if you had confined them, because
I do have
I stated in
confined
that last meeting, I said, if we're gonna write an ordinance, it needs to have strict guidelines about being pinned in. Do the same with loose, it's just like any other business.
Then why didn't you do it?
Yeah, why didn't you write
Because
out
then
that?
I never saw his chickens until I turned the corner and I see him right out there and I think, okay, if he's not gonna do, you know, putting that ahead of everything. Like how he said, you do it and then you come and want to change the law.
Well, I didn't know it was against the law. It doesn't make sense to have a chicken ban in Plymouth. It doesn't make sense.
But don't you think it would have been a lot more impressive to show by example, if you do have them, even illegally, that you've got them confined, they cannot get out? I mean, this is my issue with it. I don't really have a problem with having chickens.
Okay,
Chickens.
good.
But it's the confining them in a proper setting.
And the biggest thing is that, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay.
But at the same time, you got a junk car behind your bus and your van, and we got a nuisance thing, and that thing's been here since I've been here.
Yeah, I gotta get
And
this guy going.
Yep, and this ordinance
It's kinda
was here
taking us.
before I even got in office.
Right, I know it was.
Yep, trying to,
But you had a chance to change it. You've had 2 months. You showed good faith. That's the first time. You showed that you had respect for the signatures of gathering, the will of the people. And Jeff, you've always shown a respect for the will of the people when you waved your survey in the air. But 90% of the people want chickens.
Wait, your math is way off. 120 is not 90% of Plymouth.
No, but this is a sampling of all the people of Plymouth.
Okay, but you keep saying 90% of the people of Plymouth.
Yes.
You're maybe at 50%.
No, this is a good sampling. And polls don't do 100% of the people ever. Your survey didn't have 100% of the people.
No, I'm just saying, when you say 90% of the people of Plymouth,
Right.
that's
Give it a
misleading.
good deal of it.
I don't think it is. I think I could get signatures from everybody and end up with 90, because at this point, out of 120 signatures, I only have 10 against if Paul Ryan's counts. So at this point, and I've gone around 3 times, 4 times, 5 times around this town trying to get signatures. So I did my best. I worked hard to give you an idea of what the people of Plymouth think. This is a good representation of what the people of Plymouth think and what percentage of Plymouth thinks. It's a good representation to show that 90% of the people in Plymouth support us being able to have a few hens. And last month, even knowing that these people support it, that there's 90% support in this town, you decided to continue the ban. And you don't think that shows contempt for the signatures that were gathered?
It's just that you're spearheading this. You're the guy that's spearheading the whole operation. And you've got chickens running loose. I mean, you got them illegally for one, and then you got them running loose to boot. I mean,
So, writing ordinance says I can't do that. Put an ordinance against running loose. Don't put a complete
We've
ban
been
on
on
it.
the cars and we haven't done anything with them yet.
Yeah, I sold 2 of them this year. What do you mean nothing? I haven't done
They
anything.
had like 30 or 60 days to do it, and that's been a year and a half ago.
I only have 1 left that doesn't have place. I only
So
have 1
because you
left.
don't agree to other laws and stuff, we didn't feel we wanted to write one especially for you.
So it wasn't about chickens, it was about me. You wouldn't pass it because you don't like me? You can,
No.
you can,
No, we didn't say we don't like you.
No.
We don't like the way you agree to all the other laws in the town.
so you showed contempt for these people's signatures because you don't like the way I
That's one
do
of them,
things?
remember?
I do remember that. I don't know why you guys were fighting against this chicken thing. How did you let that happen this last meeting? Where they just continued the complete ban instead of writing the ordinance
I
like
was
they were
only
supposed
one
to?
of 5 guys.
Didn't you say something? Didn't you try to stop them from doing this? I mean, you know the will of the people is to have chickens, so why would you continue the ban? Why would you continue the ban like that? Don't you think that shows disrespect for the people that signed these petitions?
I would have figured that if you were the one coming through with this and trying to get this proposal through, that you would have been here at the next meeting at the same time, trying to get it through, because we were bringing it back up so we could discuss it and check it out and see what I found out. And you didn't even have the common decency to show up at the next month's meeting, and then at the same issue.
Do you need me to write an ordinance? You did the firewood ordinance
No,
without me.
we didn't even say we were going to approve an ordinance. We were discussing it, and we figured you'd be here in good faith to talk to us. And at the same time.
Figured.
Yep.
But you knew at the same time that the people of Plymouth wanted chickens, and you continued the ban no matter what. Right? Didn't my petition show you that out of 97 signatures, and I came past every one of yours houses. I came past every one of yours houses. You know this was a good survey. I went down to Pamela Court to the people that do the most complaining about things and tattling. And I got the signatures, the bad signatures. I went to the guy that tattled on me to begin with. And I got his signature. I didn't avoid him. I didn't avoid the mayor. I didn't avoid any bad signatures. I looked for them. And all I could find was 8. I avoided Riles just because the way he is. But, so if you want to consider 10, there's 10 against out of 125.
Well, I'll tell you what.
So you know the will of the people of Plymouth is to have pens, don't you? Do you realize that yet?
I'd consider it, but first I want to see a pen built for confinement, and I want to see it before I even consider it.
I have a pen in my front yard. It's amazing. You can see my chickens and not see the pen.
In the front yard?
Well, right by my Quonset hut, halfway back to my house. Actually, it's backyard. But you can see it from the road. It's already built. You can't let chickens just run wild. Dogs eat them and stuff. You can't let them out. They need a coop for night. They have a cage and they have a coop.
But they'd have to be cooped all the time, 24/7.
Right. Well, then write that into the ordinance. Don't continue the ban.
But then
And sorry, I call the lawyers on me. What the heck?
I don't know but at the same time, then what happens when one of us walks by or somebody walks by and complains about them, and you say you got in there running, then we'd have to go through the same hassle with you again to try to get rid of them.
Who's gonna complain about
So
chickens?
then they hand out a ticket for non-compliance.
Right.
It'd be a city ticket to where the city would make the income off of that.
You have ways of dealing with people that don't comply with ordinances. You just write an ordinance, somebody complains, then you deal with it. Just like you did the firewood ordinance. When you write an ordinance and someone doesn't comply, then you hassle them with your lawyers. Same as any other ordinance. So why can't you write an ordinance that allows only to have chickens in a coop? This is such a small rural Iowa community. And these people, I worked hard to get these signatures, and to have you treat these people's ideas and what the people of Plymouth want with such disrespect, it's just contemptible.
Your team using those people's names for disrespect, and we're even, I'm glad to see those people sign. But at the same time, I feel the issue is you with the chickens running already.
This gentleman needs to be removed from the meeting.
I'd like to have this gentleman removed from the meeting for interrupting people and refusing to listen to people. We have it on videotape here.
Sir, if he wants you to leave, then you can leave.
Okay, so he doesn't have to leave?
We were trying to conduct a meeting on the mayor.
No, you weren't. You were interrupting.
You adjourned it.
Yes.
I know, we were trying to conduct a meeting, and we cannot get this gentleman to leave so we can continue.
You
His
didn't ask.
part of this meeting is over.
I didn't hear you ask him to leave. You adjourned the meeting in the other room.
Hand in your signature so it makes it legal.
Yes, that would be appropriate.
If you could photocopy these for me,
Yeah,
and back to
more than
them.